It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. Pour yourself something cold, baby, cheers to this. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down, we don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house, play that music too loud. Show me what you do now, we don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house, come on, bring a friend.
Welcome back, everybody, to the fifth in the series of our podcast here involving Newry Darts Legends. And I'm joined this evening by a very popular man amongst his peers. Allegedly, according to the comments, a better fisherman than a dart thrower, but his record would argue that. Thomas Tucker McCabe. Tucker, how the hell are you?
All good, Michal, yourself?
Absolutely wonderful. I tell you the truth, I've been really looking forward to this, and I had a quick chat with you last night, and I wish I had recorded it, because for 20 minutes we had that much crack. I never stopped laughing, and that was only to put things in your head about who you wanted to slag tonight. So, so here we are. We've made it. So, well, before we get into it, how are you? How are you getting on with lockdown and all of that?
Oh, it's good. No, we're not so bad. We're still doing a wee bit of work. We can go in and the Golden Mouse and the football pitch will be the best ever they were now.
There won't be a keeper in the country can complain.
That's what we're in looking after them now.
I remember about a year and a half ago, we were walking across the Meadow Road, and you were standing at Jennings Park. One of the boys says, "Have you ever seen Tucker McCabe move so slowly? He must be on double time taking them nets down." He says,
Oh, you get plenty of fish now, Michal. You get plenty of that.
It took you four laps of pitch to take the cones out, or the corner flags out.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'd have probably sold them.
On top of it all. So, well, I suppose there's a number of things I want to talk to you about this evening, right? And firstly, thanks very much for doing it. I know that you've had a couple of listens to a few of the lads on before you, so you know what it's all about.
Yeah.
We've had a few questions in from a few of the lads. So before we get into them, let's get into a wee bit about you. So you're one of many brothers who threw darts in the Newry League.
That's right. Yes. Well, Bernie would have been he would have been the one that started it all. I followed him when I would have been 15, 16 with the Gaelic. He'd been thrown with the Gaelic, and they'd have been going to the non-Irons, and even with the big games with the Hillbillies, and I had been in, sneaking in and watching them and that. One of the games, I think it was about 14, 15, and they were playing in Lisbon. The Gaelic was playing, I can't mind the name this crowd they were playing on, but they won the Northern that day.
Right.
Christy Rowe won the last game. So that was, I'd say, about 77, 78. That was the first time I had ever experienced the Northern scene, and I actually enjoyed that and was delighted that a few years later you were actually thrown on the stage with them teams, you know.
Yeah. And from a young age, then you sort of got the bait following your fella into the cauldron of darts.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, and I ended up as bad as him. But I remember years ago there used to be a write-up in the paper in the Armagh Observer, and it used to have a write-up about all the darts players around here. And it actually said in one week, Bernie McCabe went to the darts on Friday night, and he went into the wrong pub. He had signed for the Gaelic, and he went into the Hillbillies. He didn't know who he was throwing for. And that was a write-up in the paper actually about him.
And tell me this from your memories, and going straight into the good stuff here. So Alan Copeland Jr. Of course, you would have known his father, and he wanted to know if you were to rate the McCabes, and say you had to play a five-a-side, who would your top five be, 1 to 5?
Well, the four, there was only four of us really sort of got into the darts. Well, I suppose Mickey would have been a brave good dart thrower, but I've seen that what Alan says, but and you can understand at that era, everybody would have put Bernie as the best thrower. But as you see, as you get on, every one of us played each other, and we all beat each other. So it was just on the night, Michal. I would say, well, we're all as good as each other on the night, you know. But I
And
know what happens.
you and Bernie had a final that you played each other in. Is that right? An individuals
No,
final?
that was Chinky. That was
Or,
me and Brian.
sorry, Chinky is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
now at that stage, you had won two individuals, had you, or
no.
one?
That's the Chinky. No, Chinky won the first individual at our house. He won it in 1998.
98, right? Okay.
Yeah. And then I won it 2 years later in 2000.
Millennium.
Yeah. And then I won it again in 2005. And then,
5 year gap.
yeah.
That's
But
that's a big gap to be. Now, when I say a big gap, I know there's plenty of players who have won it and had bigger gaps, but 5 year gap, like what happens in that 5 years? Are you still, is it just the caliber of player that's in and around you at that
oh,
time?
yeah, if you look at it, I would say in that 5 year, you probably were beaten the semi final 2 or 3 times.
Hmm.
You know, just before the finals. Like I remember Morgan beat me to get to the final. Marty Parks beat me in the semi. These were semi. So you're always just there, and it was all on the night with them boys. Like they were all brilliant throwers, the whole lot of them. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. And as it is with today's thrower as well, there's probably a top 10 in Uri or more even, and you really can't. There's not a dart between them on their night. When they're all on their A
That's right.
game, they're all really really like top
Yeah.
level. Um, so there's a couple of things that I wanted to get into with you about. So the first thing is, and you're a serial winner, right? So at darts, you've won everything there is to win local level, right? You've been there and done it multiple times, including being, as I said to you last night, you were taken out of the freezer there a couple of years ago on finals night for the Hibs and fired fired in against us in the Tom Hockey final. And I think, and I don't think he would in any way disagree with me. I think you might have played Festa that night, but I remember the man you played that night came back down just, what the fuck was that? He was now there's a wee bit of surprise, shock and awe, because obviously you're of a generation of dart throwers where there's some dart throwers coming through now will only have heard of the elusive Tucker. They'll only have heard the name,
Yeah.
never seen you throw. And then there's other players there that were maybe in our team, and when that player's coming down off the stage and he's a rabbit in the headlights to somebody of your esteem who's been on the stage all throughout his darting life and just knows how to handle it, does what he does, moves on, no histrionics, just gets the job done. Uh, the other lads in the team are saying that's just what Tucker does. That's why they have him here tonight. That's what he does. Do you have a certain mentality to be able to do that?
Uh, I don't know. It's just wanting to be on the stage. I can understand where people think that maybe I don't think there's anything different than any dart thrower on the floor, but there's people just love the stage, and I was probably one of them. Like a whole lot of boys, and you can see them. Your Martin Carvers, Tommy McCartney, Peter Green, and they all love the stage too. You can see when they get up, they have that about them, that they want. But that night at Fester got up and his practice throw, I was looking and he had 180, and I says, "Holy fuck!" I says, "Get rid of them Fester now before the game."
Aye.
But I seen him coming back and he wanted to get a drink of water, and I feel remember I turned around, I had darts, I says, "Right, Festa," and sort of caught him in the hop that wee bit, just to knock him off his game. Not been bad about it, but that's what I had to do there, because I hadn't thrown him for a few years, and
Yeah.
I didn't want Festa to go in, and I won area.
Exactly. Yeah. So you wanted to maybe before he got the confidence in practice,
That's right,
you wanted to say, let's get this going before he builds up a bit of belief as such.
that was right.
Yeah. And
But
so you played amongst some of the biggest teams in the history. So that year, obviously, the Hibs won the Tom Hockey, they won the league, etc., etc. And I know, in fairness, you were only wheeled out in very important scenarios when they heard the likes of Micheál McAvoy was playing them. But, but
No, I was
in
Liam Bradley and Donald Fagan come over and said, well, we game plan here, we want to knock the boys off their stride. If they see you coming in with a dart shirt on, it might put them off.
yeah, it wouldn't be like Liam Bradley to have a plan. I actually think that man sits like some sort of military general in his house before every darts game, trying to work it all out. But yeah, in your history of playing in the big teams in Uri, uh, give me some of your highlights of the big teams that you've played with.
Well, I'll tell you, when I started, we started with Hillbillies Bay, and it was myself, Tommy McCardle, and Nowie Price.
Uh-huh.
Jerry Donegan would have threw us then. But we only threw it to Hillbillies Bay for 1 year, and we won the first division we were throwing, and then we got into the Premier Division of Hillbillies Bay. But I remember then Hillbillies A touring, and they took myself, Tommy McCardle, and Nowie Price up into the Hillbillies A.
Uh-huh.
And we were through in the deep end there. But having said that, the three of us all held our own, and we kept our places till we got the non-Ireland finals that year, the champions of champions.
That's right.
And we were beating the final 6-5. That was a tight game. But you see the like of that, Micheál, that's and the Charity Cup, as you say, that was for the runners-up, the like of whoever was runner-up. But you see them days going on the coach till the non-Ireland was brilliant. Like the boys today, if it was going, it would be super for them. See, winning the league and then winning your area, playing teams from Kilkeel. There were some great teams from Kilkeel, one point for Straver, even down Patrick.
Was that the South Down sort of league? Like Kieran Gallagher and I played in that, yeah.
That's right. You'd win your area to get till the last 8 in the non-Ireland. But see, on the coach going down, like that day that I remember the year that I went the first time, the boys actually in the bus were playing cards on the way down on the top of a beer crate that was full of bottles of beer, and they were opening them and drinking them. Like the atmosphere before you get down there was brilliant, and then you get into the hall and the whole roaring and growling with the boys when all the shorts and all on. It was great atmosphere on it.
Yeah, and people would think if you're not into darts, and like I suppose I seen this mainly from starting to go to other big sort of darting events, and I've seen some team events and whatnot. Like, but if you're not if you weren't big into it, like you were at the time, you wouldn't really understand how intense some of those situations and scenarios are. Like,
yeah,
although the crack amongst your own crew it's above 100%. I mean, the crack on away days, and you know, I value the away days with the lads that we go with at times as some of the very best. But the intensity when you get there against some odd teams from some other areas, and it doesn't, you know, I'm not describing any particular areas. Obviously, there's some very vivid memories of some very vivid areas. But like even nowadays, if you're heading to the likes of Ennis, to the All Irelands, or you're heading to the counties up in I know they've moved it now. It was in Bellini's for a while there, but they've moved it back up the country up to Newton Abbey now, the county scene in Northern Ireland. Like when you're saying there about the roaring and the gouldering and like that, it wasn't people weren't nice to each other when you get into those battles. Like it was a proper battle. Like
yeah, but that's what people love to see. Very competitive sports like that are on the day. You know, people don't want to see people hugging each other and kissing each other. That's people want to see up on the stage and going full hard at it and turning around when you maybe hit their double and 400 or 500 people behind you and half of them shouting against you and half of them shouting for you. You know, that's as I heard Kevin Woods telling you about that first in Ireland that I was on the team with them in the Charity Cup when they won. Well, the story with that was me and Bernie hadn't through. We hadn't through for the most of that season. And whatever happened was a game on Friday night. There was a bit of a fallout with a few boys out of the Gaelic. And the next morning at 7 o'clock, Paddy Rogers was actually in my bedroom. This is no joking. And he says to me, come on, he says, we're going to throw darts. And I says, no, I'm not. He says, I'm going to get Bernie. So if he goes, so Bernie comes down where he says, look, their bikes is stuck. He says, they've only 9 or 10 men, I can't mind, it was 11 aside. But he says, come on, we'll go down. So we went down, went the non-races, and went in the door and fair play at all. The boys were delighted to see us, even though we hadn't through all year. So we went down to the non-irons on the bus, and first game we won. It was all right, and it was the best of 11. We were getting beat 5-1 by this team, but it's the same. You see, when you go in, when you hear people, they'll always say, "Oh, there's the Derry individual, or there's the Lisbon individual." You always find out who's the best players with the talking. But there's this big, tall boy, Hugh Cochran, and he'd won the Smithwick's. He'd have been about 6'5" or 6, and he'd won the Smithwick's the week before. And the boys were all saying, he beat Lord Westbig Kieran Matthews in the quarter semi-final. Kieran had won it the year or two before. But when we went in, this was the boy that everybody was looking at, Hugh Cochran. He was the Smithwick's individual. But they were beating, the way it were on was 2 boards going at the same time. You had 2 players for each team going. But they stopped the board, and then they called myself. And I never heard the name. But when I went up to throw, I said, why are they not playing this A board? Because they were beating us 5-1. Well, obviously they thought, here's Hugh Cochran. He's going to beat whoever he's playing. But he went in anyway, shook hands through, and he had 180, and he put the finger up, brilliant. And I went in, had 180 behind him and slid down the floor. And he turned around, and he was in shock. I could actually see that he went, this wasn't supposed to happen. But I beat him to bring it back to 5-2, and then they started 2 boards again.
Oh, right.
And we'll come back, and Kevin Woods did win the last game. But in the final, it went the opposite way about. We were 5-2 up, and we're playing the Anvil from Lisbon, and they come back to 5-all. And I was on last game now.
Right.
And this is where you sort of, as you say, you get the wee chances. There was boys even come to me and said, because I was only 18 at the time, and the boys says they were glad because that could have ruined you. They said, that boy would hit you, for you to lose the last game of the non-iron could have finished you at darts,
Yeah.
But thankfully it didn't.
And so with the, I mean, like, you're 100% right. Amazing stories, and I know there was talk of a champion of champions coming back, and over the past couple of years, like there's been some really, really good teams in about the Newry League and that, So it would be nice to see a team. The problem with the Newry League, in my opinion, at the minute is it's almost too competitive within itself, that people build up this sort of, it's not animosity, it's not aggressiveness towards other people, but it's certainly rather than the way it may have been back in the day. Now it's genuine, dislike of another team. It's like we know there are competitors, so we won't like them. It doesn't matter how friendly you are during the summer. It doesn't matter how friendly you are at other competitions. When it comes to league darts, we don't like them, and that's it. And then it's hard to turn that off to to travel even as a league select for other teams. But the champion of champions might help that along, because you would maybe support a local team going to do it on a different stage, So it would be nice to see something like that, to be fair.
Yeah, it would be brilliant. Even do you see when the league's over? That's when they would play your South Down league area. That's when you'd be playing against them MA teams.
Yeah.
To get in the last 8, which is brilliant. That keeps you throwing even off season. It was a brilliant competition, I have to say.
I suppose half the problem that is you were throwing in an era where there was a radius rule, and I put that in quotations because it was often flaunted, but unless Simon Wicks was from the Armagh Road, but
yes.
Which I don't think he was, but but with the way things are now, a lot of players throw for a lot of different leagues, and there's people, you might have to play a team that you actually play for in Banbridge in a qualifying match or something like that. So I suppose there's a lot of contingency to it to try and get it all sorted out. But that's for the people who are making a few bob to actually sort that out. That's not for me.
Yeah.
We're talking last night, and you had a good old crack for me about a bus journey, a very interesting bus journey home.
Yeah, well, there was two of them bus journeys, but I'll tell you, the first one was 1981. That's an ass story. I was in England from 88, 89 and 90, and I come home, and Chinky was throwing. I hadn't threw, as I say, for a few years, and Chinky was throwing. I was going to watch him. I went into Philly Larkins. It was early in January. And all the boys were sitting at the bar, and I went in and got a good crack with them. Lord Rest and Kieran Matthews and Francie McDonald, all the boys was there. And boys was thrown on it, and I can't mind who it was. I think it was Pat Bournes or Kieran, and them turned around and says, "We're going to the Non-Irons in a couple of weeks." I says, "That's good stuff." He says, "So you can come with us." I says, "No, maybe I could get a lot of boys in bar here, but anyway, they're all quick darts." But he says, "So say you signed for us." I says, "How could I say a sign for you when I was in England for the last couple?" Pat Bournes said, "I told him I sent the card over and you signed it and sent it back." I just go, "Well, you go for that." Pat Bournes. Now, Lord Rest Paddy Rogers, I know he didn't believe it for 1 minute. But that's how we got. So the next week, the boys with the short try went over, they gave me a short try. I played 2 or 3 games for them in the league, then went down to Harnamore for Elders, D Street. But won the Non-Ireland that day, the Charlie Cup, my feelings. When I come outside, there was a crowd standing at the corner, and the next thing, every window in the bus was put in.
Oh, Jesus.
And there was curtains on the bus. So on the whole way up from Belfast to Banbridge, they were told, boys was going into Banbridge to report the incident happened, but every window was smashed, and we were driving up with dart shorts on in February, and it was freezing. And all the curtains blown out the windows, and people were driving past looking. They must have thought there was a crowd of aliens landed. But we got to Banbridge, and Jerry Matthews, he went in to report the incident that happened. So when he went in, 2 policemen came out, and they got to the front of the bus, and the first boy took the book out, and he went to the first 2 boys. He said to the first boy, "What's your name?" And he said, "Mickey Mouse." And he looked at him, and he looked at the other boy, and he says, "What's your name?" He says, "Donald Duck." So the policeman closed the book and got off the bus, and we drove on back to Newry in the Faileys and celebrated, and I think they had to report the incident the next day. That's it. The boys wanted to get on down the road and celebrate. They weren't going to be held up in Banbridge.
In Banbridge. And when you were doing that sort of a circuit, and you told me to be honest with you, some people will call it a controversial story. I think it's a nice story, and I'd like you to tell everybody about somebody there, God rest him, who my own father has always told me, and if he was ever to have a conversation with me and we recorded it, he would stand by it. The greatest dart thrower he's ever seen. And when I was in Newry now, playing in Newry, and when I was talking to you last night, you had mentioned who you thought was the best of your era when you were watching them. And then you told me a wee story about him. And you've mentioned him a couple of times there, Mr. Matthews. You want to tell us a wee bit about that?
I'll tell you what I know. When I went in, Big Kieran was brilliant. Well, like Kieran's party piece was, if Kieran left 60, it was 3 double tens, and the amount of times he done it was unbelievable. And ball and taps. If he needed 90, you would put your name up on the board. He was that good.
Yeah.
But again, he won. He was beat in the final of the Guinness Masters one year, and then he won the Smithwick's the next year. And he went to play in the BDO for winning the Non-Ireland division. That got him until I can't mind his last 124, 64, 64 of the BDO Masters. But when he went over, he told me this story when he came home. He played Dave Whitcomb, but Dave Whitcomb beat him. But the thrower he was, and never to get recognised to get on the non-Ireland team was a disgrace. Like, it was wrong.
Yeah.
Not only him, even Dominic O'Brien, Jerry Monaghan at that time were throwing some darts. But Big Kieran says when he would then come out of the hotel with Norm McCutcheon, Lord rest him, Norm was great and Kieran were best mates. Like, they would always travelled everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He says when he got down onto the floor, somebody from, I can't mind the name, he says walked over and handed him a non-Ireland shirt. And Kieran says, no, I'm wearing my hillbilly shirt, and so he did. Like, and he says if he had to get through to go on the tally, he still would have worn his hillbilly shirt. So that was my memories of Big Kieran. Like.
Yeah, and you know, I love to hear that sort of you know, a man stand, but many a man over the years has been hard done by at international level. Coming out in Uri, I'm talking about like we have had some phenomenal dart players. Like, I mean, crazy good, and we've had even more crazy good dart players that just didn't bother.
That's true. Yep. There's some dart throwers that could have made it, and they didn't even. Like, I might know Davy McCutcheon. Davy McCutcheon was a brilliant thrower and was asked to sign for the Hillbillies and Gaelic and wouldn't. He just was loyal to the Bears or stayed with them.
And still with them.
And still with them. Yeah. No, Davy was a super thrower.
Yeah, and Davy's always been a good thrower. And many a man has tried and maybe just not had the backing to do it as well. And it's something that I suppose nowadays it falls under the question of, do people not want to support the locals going to do it? I think now's a better time. I think they would support them.
I do, yeah. I do myself.
But
even again, Kevin Woods mentioned there that I'm sure, I'm near sure it was 1985. Hillbillies won the Champions of Champions, and a week later, or 2 weeks later, the Gaelic won the Charity Cup. So that was within 50 yards. The two teams had won the both coveted trophies in non-Ireland, and not one of them were ever selected for the non-Ireland team. You know, it was wrong. You know, the talent the throwers they had for nobody even to get. Not even to get on the reserve list in the non-Ireland team.
Yeah, and were they recognised, Tucker, at that time? Were they recognised locally by like the council or anything like that?
Big Kieran was, yes.
Right.
Big Kieran. But again, there's another thing that they had on. I remember that he couldn't be nominated for the sports award because they didn't recognise darts as a sport. I do remember that.
Yeah, because a few years back, and we sort of touched on this with the chat we had with Liam Bradley about the team that the all-conquering team, the only team to do they win everything in 1 year, and this and the team out and trainers in Camla. And don't get me wrong, phenomenal dart team they were. Do you know what I mean? But at that time, I think they had one or two people floating about the international scene on that team as well. It shocks me when I look back through some of the history of it, the lack of recognition that darts has got, and it annoys me to a point because you take, obviously we've lockdown at the minute, but if you take darts out of Newry on a Friday night, sure, what else do you have?
Very, very little.
Do you know what I mean? Like, every taxi man in the country prays for their darts on a Friday night to be lifting boys in and out of their pubs and back and forward to their houses or whatever. You know, chippies, the barmen themselves, you know, like you ask any good barkeeper in Newry, you go up to the bars, you go to Boyd's, you go over to McGee's or Nan Rice's. A lot of these pubs would say, no, you know, without the dart teams would struggle big time, you know.
And so they would.
You know, if you look at the Hibs, like, what would the Hibs do without their dart teams now?
No, they would be finished.
It'd be finished. You know what I mean? It's a different ball game now. I know it's a club and different things, but at the same time, it would be finished, in my opinion, anyway.
No, I would agree with you, and I'd say it'll be. I'm sure there's a lot of boys. I'd love to go back to darts time myself just to get out of the house.
I don't know if people. I don't know.
Civic Receptions. Hey, you're talking about. I have to tell you about a boy at a civic reception, and he didn't tell too many about it.
Well, sure, give us it.
Oh, I want to give you that. That's just before I forget about it. Years and years ago, when the Shakespeare was going, the Gaelic was thrown out, and every Saturday, Mayhall would have had a competition every Saturday, and the place would have been packed, as you say, they were downstairs and upstairs boards.
Yeah.
But this Saturday there was trials for the Louth team in Dundalk. So
Right.
everybody the night before was all. So we'll all go to Dundalk for the Louth trials. So anyway, myself, Chinky Rancho, Jerry Madigan, Greg Grace, all different teams rather. But when we come back that night, the Shakespeare still run their competition.
Ah.
And who didn't go to the Louth trials but went down and won it? Only Tommy McCartney.
Oh, right.
Right, but what do you hear? Is that on that? He went back up and told everybody in Drummond that he won a major title in Newry, and they had a civic reception for him in the Three Steps. Barney McCrank. What do you hear? They had Barney McCrank. They had took him in a big fucking white yoke, and they had the
Pope-mobile.
for a band playing in front of him. That he had won this big title. And Mickey Morgan was telling me the idea. Mickey said he still has the 20 quid that he won that day frame. He told everybody he won a major title in Europe. and when you get him on, ask him am I wrong.
Well, I would say, it humbly denied. But there's going to be one man that'll listen to this, and he will absolutely. And apart from Tommy, who I know will listen to it when we post it on YouTube, but Kieran Gallagher will live off that story.
Well, there you go.
A civic reception. So, do you get a title? Like, should we be calling him Lord McCartney or anything?
Well, up around Drummond T. Jonesboro, the Gap of the North, they have photos of him all over the pub. He's like the Pope.
He won the individuals a couple of years back.
He did, yeah.
And listen, he's a good mate of ours, and he's a phenomenal dart thrower. But he's also a top class wind up merchant, right? And he won the individuals a couple of years back. And myself and Justin McCabe and Remy Carolan, we'd all been throwing the guy up in Boyd's on a Monday night for a bit of crack. And we'll tell you, if Boyd's was open now, we'd still be doing it, But that's how our team in Boyd's that's together at the minute sort of started out. It was a wee bit of crack amongst the boys on a Monday night, and we were all playing for different teams. And we says, look, lads, why don't we just put a team in together? So we're here practicing together and playing together anyway. So anyway, McCartney went on a run of some he in the past couple of years he's been in some form, throwing some darts, and he went on, and I think at that time it was just his time to go and win that individuals because he was the top player about it at that particular time, right?
Yeah.
And I think he had to play Peter Green in the final. Yeah. And it was a great final, and Peter put it up to anybody. Peter's a champion in his own right, and so so Tommy, we all wanted to celebrate. Tommy doesn't have a drink anymore, and we all wanted to celebrate for him. So we all did. And we all had drinks, and we went up. And God rest Jim Boyd Senior. We all sat up and had a drink in the bar, and actually, scenes as they call it. But the next day, there's a competition on up in Dundalk. I think it's the Stag's Head it's in maybe. And now one of the best games of darts I've ever seen that day. Shout out to Johnny Donnelly played Kevin Burness. Fuck, what a game of darts. But anyway, that aside, so we're up in Dundalk, and and McCartney's there, and the eyes is hanging out of his head. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with him? He says, I didn't sleep a wink. He says, I sat out the front of my house on the bench by myself for about 3 hours last night. He says, trying to calm myself down. And we said, fair play to you. And but we call that the victory tour. He had to have a parade all around Dundalk for winning it.
Definitely, But here, we're talking about you're talking about captains and managers there.
Yeah.
Paddy Rogers and Kevin Woods, I have to give it to them. You see, and I could mention 3-4 names very quickly off the head that when we were playing teams like Tommy McCartney was thrown for the 3 steps, and we went in, Paddy Rogers and Kevin Woods came out and said, we have to get that by Tommy McCartney. He's a brilliant thrower. So they got him in. Next year, Tommy was in the team. They went to Killeavy. Big Pit the Graydon was thrown. Paddy Rogers, we need to get that by. Paddy would, if he'd seen somebody on a team, he would have got them. And he done the same even with Mufti Morgan. He had Mufti on the Gaelic team as well. He would always have picked out somebody he was always trying to battle the team, like, you know, you have to give, and Kevin Wood's done the same with the Bears when we were with them. You know, they're good men for spotting good talented dart throwers, like.
And so with with saying that now, Paddy Rogers is a name that I only sort of came across Paddy Rogers' name a few years ago, um, uh, shortly before he passed away. In fairness, um,
Yeah.
and Tommy McCartney told me about him. You know what, he was the man that gave him his start in darts, and a few other lads had nothing but praise for the man. You know, and what he brought to darts and what he brought to dart
Yeah.
teams. Um, at that time as a captain for Paddy and for Kevin, right? And I want you to try and bring yourself back uh, to the heyday of the Gaelic versus the Hillbillies and the biggest games going, right? And
Yeah.
what do them lads say to you before you go in to play? Right, say you're in an away game. What's the last thing them lads are saying to you before you go in?
Well, I can remember. Well, I've gone back even. I mind the first game with the Hillbillies, the Gaelic, and I mean walking from the Hillbillies up to the Gaelic, and there's actually people standing outside the pub couldn't get in because it was that packed. But the team top in the pub would have been just, you know, yourself, get into these ones, no mess about, get a shot or double, put it out. Just that was it. But what I will say, it wasn't much team talk as much as team bonding, like as such. Like I'll give you an instance. Stevie McAleenan there, out of the Maple Leaf. Stevie would have been a good thrower. Marty still throws there,
That's
but
right,
Stevie would have been the battle of the two.
right.
And Marty will be delighted to hear that. But that's
He will. I'm
uh,
sure he'll take that up with me the next time I'm talking to him.
I will. But Stevie was saying this night that they were hitting 140s and 180s, and the Gaelic was coming over, and we were top of the league. And the boys saying, "We take pints of these coming over here. Them think they own the place and think they're going to." So we walked in the door, and we always went as the team, the whole lot together. Wasn't in dribs and drabs. As we all get in the door, boys getting a third and a pint, and a couple of them looked down, and the boys were throwing, and it was just, I don't know why it was spontaneous, but the boys let a big roar, on, and the next thing, the Maple Leaf boys just all started hitting their 11s and 26s. It's just when the scene, the team and the roar just scared the life out of them.
Yeah,
And that's what happened with a lot of teams. I seen boys hitting 140 and the team good darts, and our boy getting in hitting 26 behind him, and everybody roaring, get brilliant darts. And I'm sure the boy that hit the 140 saying, the crowd didn't roar for me like that.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
know?
that's something that still goes on now. And there's a couple of lads. Depends what team you're in. You know,
That's
I
right.
I
You're right.
often find the best teams roar on their men no matter what,
That's
right?
right. That's
And
what I'm saying. Yeah.
often the loudest team is the winning team. Often, more often
Yeah.
than not, right? And I remember a man telling me one day we were in the Hibs one night and we were playing, and there was a few of us sitting over here. And the Hibs is that sort of a venue where you could have three or four men sitting in one wee booth, and a couple at the back of the pool table, and a couple over the far side, and you're kind of dotted around it at times. And I remember one of the lads sort of coming over and saying, "Come over here beside such and such, and come over here." I'm like, "What the fuck? I'm just really watching the game here." And he's like, "I tell you, they're shouting us down. It's
Yeah.
as simple as
That's right.
that, and we'll have to stop it." So the next game, couldn't tell you who it was went on. It could have been fucking anybody. But next thing, he's on 45. Good darts, good darts, good darts.
That's right. That's it.
And I start going to himself, what on earth? But you can clearly see in the way he's thrown a wee bit of panic or a wee bit of uncomfortableness setting in, and all of a sudden his darts are hitting treble fives instead of treble 20s.
Yeah.
And you can just see that wee bit of uncomfortableness coming into his throw, and you're going, Now only the top level throwers can deal with that. They'll laugh it off and go, I dare really see this, and they'll whack in
Yes.
a 180. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
and I've seen many a top level thrower do it. I remember a long time ago upstairs in Boyd's and watching Justy McCabe and Desi Moorhead, I think it was, and the roars of two boys at each other when they're playing. Like
Yes.
I think Desi Moorhead might have started it. I think he had a ton and he sort of turned ahead and gave a bit of a yelp out of him.
Yes,
And
definitely would have been good at that.
McCabe had come in behind him with a 140, and he let a roar by. I think those people in Monk's Hill jumped out of the grave.
I know that's
Coming down, I was going to myself, what on earth? And I'll be honest with you, I hadn't actually started throwing league darts, and I was only sort of getting in each week and watching. But I turned around to the mate Tommy Colgan at the time. He goes, "What the fuck is wrong with them people?"
yeah,
I
yeah,
just couldn't
no, no.
understand it. But you see now, I've done it myself. I can understand it
That's right.
because when you're in it,
That's,
when you're in
that's,
the middle of it, you
that's
get it.
right. Yep. That gets you through it. That's
Oh,
exactly what it gets you through it.
it
But
definitely
if you're
does.
talking about tactics and for a boy, the only man that I really knew that would have done the real proper team talk and would have been Tommy Mooney. Tommy, he would have loved the team talks before you left
Yeah,
when the last couple of years with the Hibs when I was throwing. Tommy would have been, you know, these boys and dumping that and these ones do this. No, like he would have been well in that. He probably took it from the football though. But
exactly.
before
Yeah.
that, it never really was team talk. It was just sort of just stick the guy, get in here, get the game, get the damage done, and get back for a pint. That was,
And that's it. Yeah.
yeah.
And, and again, you just as you finished off there, I suppose it's slightly different now. See the amount of men that's going in now and not drinking. Like
That's right. Yeah.
when I started, like I absolutely associate going to my darts on a Friday night with a pint because it's Friday end of the week, blah blah blah. Um, but there's a lot of throwers now will drive to a venue. They don't take a drink because they're actually going and they're doing county scenes and individual tours. There's a lot of boys now sort of affiliated with different counties, and they're doing the individual circuits as best they can within their own budget, of course, because
Yeah.
it's very very hard for a man to get a sponsor nowadays. But um, and they don't take a drink now because they're even driving to these venues to go to them, but they can still
I've
throw
seen that, and that's
that level of
brilliant.
darts,
Like that is brilliant that them boys can go up because as you say, the hour we come, I mean, I need 4 or 5 pints for I'm right, and I need
Yeah, yeah.
uh, if you had Jerry Madigan now, that's a different one. I would say if you get Jerry Madigan in this here, Mihal, you'll hit the golden button. Hey, you'll end up with a TV program if you can get Jerry on this. Because you hear stories that nobody could tell.
No, yeah, well, funny, Liam Bradley had sent me a message saying, ask Tucker to tell you some of Jerry Madigan's stories.
No, well, I don't want to steal Jerry's thunder. Hey, I'll let you get Jerry on and let him tell you them firsthand.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into it.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions, well, not questions, but I'm sure you've seen a couple of the lads on Facebook. Uh, so I'll give you a couple of them. Uh, Tommy McCardle, ask Tucker about us cleaning the lads in Doyle's in our youth.
Oh yes, yeah. We would have been in the back bar, and there was the railway is now.
Yeah,
Me and Tommy were only young, as I said, but signed with the Hillbillies B and them want to help, but nobody knew us, and we went in and they were playing 50p a man. But after about an hour, nobody was only me and Tommy playing. Nobody would put any more money up, and the next time we went in, we got chased.
you use it heavy pockets leaving.
What had was very good. Actually, it was a nice tray, a big last tray full of 50p's, and I think there might have been the odd note in it as well. But that was, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was good old days too. Yeah.
Let's see who else. Donald Fagan. I want to know what he did with the dartboard I gave him for his birthday.
I sent him a photograph of it the other week. I'll tell you what happened. The, one of the children in working in Alton Galvin, and there's one of them was in King's College, and she got sent home with this coronavirus crack.
Yeah.
And when she come home, she said to me, "Have I not a dartboard?" So I says to Donald, like text, I says, "If you a dartboard, so fair play to me, left that Blade 5 brand new dartboard over." But I says, "Did you leave the wee clips and all on it?" He says, "Yeah, but there was nothing new to put it up." So I went outside and made a wee clip and I put it in the back door of the shed, and we were having to throw me in the 2 yards. And I sent him a photo of it up on the shed, and he sent back, I think he's near crying. Watch that doesn't fall on the ground.
It wouldn't be like Donald, would it? He likes everything to be like a new pin. When he's like,
Yeah.
I've never seen a pair of trousers as well pressed on a Friday night as Donald Fagan's.
And he earns them himself
He,
too.
does he? That's an image nobody wants to think about. By Donald standing in his jocks and his trousers,
Uh,
with the glasses still on. Donald Fagan, he's a hell of a dart thrower too. Do you,
Brilliant.
Donald,
Donald's one of the like that's there's not too many get the individuals back to back like, and Donald
hmm,
won it and then got to the final.
yeah,
Carlo, that was like for by Carlo, I couldn't tell you anybody that's won it 2 years in a row.
yeah. Carlo won it back to back, is right, yeah.
Back to back, but then that's hard to do in Europe.
Oh, massively, especially with
I
the
think
quality of thrower. Like.
Big Peter won it the year before that Tommy beat him the next year. Like Big Peter was going for two in a row then as well. Like
He was,
that's
that's
not
right.
easy done.
It certainly is not, no. And but what you find in that is it goes in cycles, Tucker, doesn't it? I mean, like
It does.
you had a period of maybe
I would,
what
yeah,
5 6 years where you were in finals, semi-finals, finals,
that's right.
semi-finals, and then there's other things come in and take over and different priorities, and you decide to maybe take a wee back step in your practice or whatever, and you're not there, but somebody else then comes along and they're like Tommy McCartney's been about the semi-finals, finals. Peter
That's
Grinnon's
right.
been about the semi-finals, finals. Now you know Johnny Donnelly won it last year, and he played Johnny Lawler
Yeah,
in the final of it. Two lads from Dundalk, two good lads, two good throwers.
yeah,
Um, but there's definitely like in my opinion, looking back on it, even like the names that are there, you're always, even when you're talking to somebody about it that have been there, like Kieran Gallagher's been on the stage multiple
yes, yeah,
times. You get the odd one in there. You have the likes of Mickey McDonald through Carlow one year. I think it
yeah.
was the second year Carlow won it, and Mickey McDonald was in the second division, no, I think he might have been the second division that year with us, or the first division, one of the two. Um, had been thrown with us in the B team in Boyd's, and just went on a run by, and he was throwing some stuff that year, went on a
But
run, but when he got up on the stage, it just didn't happen for him.
that's right. You see,
It's
that's
it,
the difference. Yeah,
it's hard to watch that for a fella getting up on that
yeah,
stage and it just not coming together for him.
yeah. But as you say, when he had been thrown, whatever pub he was thrown in to come out, even probably Ballyhole, it's not, you don't have to put a step up on the stage, and when you turn around and see everybody behind you, that's the difference with a whole lot of bikes.
Yeah, it's
They
a big
just
thing. You,
yeah, it gets into their head that they think they have to perform instead of getting in and trying to perform.
yeah, and enjoying the buzz of it.
That's
Like
right. Yeah,
we were up on we were and I want to make sure that anybody that is listening knows that I'm trying to get this in as often as I can. Every time I'm talking to somebody and I'm telling them that I won the pairs last year, right? Because it's the biggest thing I've ever won darts, so fuck them.
that's right.
So
What's good?
I'll fucking tell them all that. And it mightn't have been the greatest darts you ever watched, but I fucking won it, and that's it. So shut up. I'm the fucking
Nobody,
champ. Move
listen,
on.
nobody remembers what, if you watch anybody that won the individual or pairs, nobody remembers the darts. They just remember the name. You
That
know,
now you're talking. Now you're talking.
nobody
Yeah.
remembers, like, even when I won the individual, nobody could tell you what the darts was like.
Well,
They just
up.
remember that it's the same. Even, like, you will hear a few boys, that was a brilliant final and that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it'll then go to, he won that individual. It'll not go to what the darts was like. And as you say, that's when you have your name on it. There's nobody can take it off of me, Hall. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
They'll definitely not take it off it at the minute. It looks like it
You
could.
have you have to put
I
it
could
on
be
for 2 years.
the first ever pairs back to back champ without having to throw a dart. Fucking great.
There you go.
you know,
Brilliant. Yeah,
I'm pushing Liam Bradley hard for that one. Right, so obviously you had look, you've had hundreds of brilliant moments in darts. Not only like the fact that you got to throw your brother in an individual final, and I know,
yeah,
don't get me wrong, disappointing if you don't win, or
yeah,
for the
yeah.
man that does win, it's fantastic. But it's a brilliant, like, what an experience. Do you know what I mean? To be able to do that. So you've had a lot of experiences, brilliant experiences, and then you sort of you dipped out of darts then, and you took up the fishing. Well,
That's right.
maybe you'd always been doing the fishing at sort of in conjunction with it, but you went sort of full hog at the fishing and give the darts a rest.
That's right. Yeah, took over. Just what, as you say, you're right. A lot of traveling with the fishing too, and
Yeah.
we're heading all over Ireland. So
And what is it about darts and fishing, right? Because there's Anto McCabe, there's Peter Greenan, there's Tommy McCartney, there's Chris McAlin, there's fucking hundreds of these darts throwers, very, very good darts throwers, and love the fishing and good at it. What's the connection? What is that connection? There has to be something.
well, The only thing I'll put that the oil washing and the dishes have to be done at the weekend. So if you have a hangover Saturday morning, you don't have to do it. If you're away fishing Sunday, that gets you out of that too. So that saves you from having to do anything right now.
So it's like we all like to do, avoiding the housework as much as possible.
That,
So get as
that's
many
it.
hobbies as possible
Get
in.
out, see what they're allowed to get away with and stick with it.
And so you played obviously in the era of Barney McCrinkin and draws being done on kitchen tables.
That's
Uh,
like, yeah,
and you've dipped in and out. Don't get me wrong. You've always signed here or there and dipped in and out over the years. Do you think do you think things are better now? How compared to your day and when you see things run versus what you watch now? Like obviously things change, right? So the individuals up in Ballyholland for toxic or
yeah,
in the Foresters Club versus now the individuals on the big stage down in Bellini's, all that the razzmatazz, you might say, whatever way you want to put it.
yeah.
Have
Well,
they changed for the better?
it has by far. See that open draws is brilliant. That is and I can remind way back. I mean, draws been done, and even them in the paper. And with this, myself and Ali McCall were thrown in the pairs, and the draw when we get down to the semi-final was us to play. It was actually two boys from Killeavy that got through to play in that semi-final. And then there was two boys, myself and Ali was the Gaelic, and there was two boys in the RSA, would have been the Hibs, and they were supposed to play Tommy Dunn and Daniel Dunn. And the next thing they reversed it, that me and Ali, but we went and showed them the draw on the paper. Ah, no, that doesn't matter. And that happened because they wanted the two boys out of the Hibs to play the two boys from Killeavy, which
Yeah,
obviously they beat them.
yeah. And it was
And that did
interesting.
happen. That did happen. The silly things like that happened. That
Yeah,
the draws were changed, chopped and changed, and there were boys coming in the individual nights say, "Oh, I wasn't put in, but I'm throwing here," and there would be a brave good thrower.
aye.
They were selecting where they were going to throw.
Well, just as you say that, and I know a pair who won the pairs, and then again, I'm sure they'll find me being a bit of a wind-up merchant telling them this, but I've always said from the day and hour it happened that they picked their venue a few years back. That one of them was to throw with somebody else, and the other one was two different partners, and lo and behold, they couldn't make it. So in my opinion, they took a look at the two boards and they picked the easiest board, and they went to the Hibs that night and they got
Yeah,
through. And then, now in fairness, they went on to win it. I think they
yeah,
played Andrew Bridges and Johnny McWilliams in the final, so the two boys will know who I'm talking about. But they went on to win it, and they're two good dart throwers. Don't get me wrong, very good dart throwers. But there was definitely, and I think now, which is if you were in the draw with somebody else, you can still play if you're playing with somebody who was never partnered with somebody else. But two
yes,
boys that were partnered with somebody else can't play together. So you can't change your
yeah,
team before you go in to do it now, which is far
yes,
better.
yes.
And you can't,
I
you know,
agree
you
with that.
can't pick and choose your venues either, which is always good. The likes of the open pairs and the open individuals, they're all draws done on the night now. Uh,
That's brilliant because that saves. You can't moan or groan when you see it done on the night. You can't complain if the draws. Like I remember one time. I'll just give you this. There was a draw, and well, now this could happen, but we'll see what to you would take out. It was the last eight of the open individuals, and there was myself, Chinky Rancho, and Peter Green from the Gaelic into the last eight. I was through again, Rancho. Peter was through again, Chinky, and the winner played each other. Now, that was some draw, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah,
That draw was put into the paper. That wasn't done on the night. Like the chances that happened would have been nil
yes,
if you
yeah,
were to put eight names in a hat and take them out. But that's why the way it is now is brilliant. And even like the Bellinis, the competitions the boys have now is super. Like I even you're watching like that. But I think what is that? First, they're over 4180s. I was looking
yeah. That's
in
the Grand Slam. That's the sort of
like,
individual league type thing
yeah,
that he runs with Tuesday night.
them such some darts and Tommy McCartney and some young fella 11 darts, and
Yeah.
like that's some experience for anybody that wants to battle their darts to begin in there, from lower divisions.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
they'll
And
only improve. Yep, they'll only improve throwing again them boys.
yeah, and I suppose with yourself, like when you started, you were getting into teams like the Hillbillies.
But
Like when you came from the B team, and to be honest with you, I've went through a learning with darts, right? You watch things happen around you, and you pick up things over the years, and you watch people and how people do things, whatever. And you could always see, right, A teams pick up the B team's best players. That's what happens, right? And
yeah,
has happened for years. Now, the odd time you get a B team that gets very strong, and A team players start defecting to it, which is
yeah,
another version of the same thing, essentially. But what you will find is, and I'm sure you found it when you went from Hillbillies B to the A team, when you go to play with better players, your game does improve because it has to.
you have to. That's right. Yeah, like again, I mean, it would have been 50p a man in the Hillbillies way back. That's like far back we were going. And you had like, if you're only young, you had only so many 50p's you get lost
Oh,
behind.
well, that's true
To,
too.
when you
And
start, and like I mean, you're talking about you're throwing again Kieran Matthews, Dominic O'Brien, or Bernie, Jim Parks, Alan Copeland, like they were the bee's knees then, them boys.
yeah, they were like the names. You're pretty much rolling through the Hall of Fame there,
That's right.
if
Yeah.
you look at it that way.
And
Um,
I was only 18 or 17, 18 trying to take 50p of them.
yeah.
I don't know. Probably needed a bottle of Slava, but
Well, I wouldn't. Will I tell you? I'm sure there's plenty of men listening to this could lend you one, but
no, I would say that. I would say.
but I get exactly what you mean. Like I can remember starting off and Boyd's B team. And Big Mickey White brought me on board, and starting off, I was a youngster coming in the Friday night, and we'll tell you, I enjoyed the darts, but I was out for beer, and it was a great reason for me to get out. A few beers, game of darts. I loved the crack at it. But on a Friday night, I used to get to a stage by 12 o'clock where I would have enough beer in me to be full of liquid confidence, as I say, and go up the stairs. And Mufti, Mo Hockey, Big Mo, Justy, John Quinn, I mean, the boys A team, Tom Fletcher, like all these boys, brilliant dart throwers, every one of them.
Yeah, yeah,
And me going up, and Mufti would have sat back with a wee rollie and his pint. And no, if you want to play a game, you have to hold the board. What the fuck are you talking about? Hold the board. Now, you have to take into consideration here, ain't green as grass. No, if you want to play,
yeah.
you have to hold the board. I hold the board at the minute. Right there on, well, what do I have to do to hold the board? Do I have to beat you in a game or whatever? Well, it's a pound to play, right? Dead on. And you have to hit three colours. Right. Dead on. I'm thinking, fucking hell. Sure, how handy can that be? I said, right,
Yeah.
well, how many goes at it do you get for a pound? He says, one. All right, no bad, dead on. So I walks up, fucking big balls, up to the board. Go for the bull first, and then you hit a big black and a big white. Go for the
Yeah.
bull, hit a wee three, right? Well, there's the black, so it can go for a bull again. Go for a bull again, you hit it. Not you fucked. Two darts and you're a pound down, right? And
Strong, yeah.
that only lasts so long. So many Friday nights where you'll do that 3 or 4 times and you go to yourself, I'm fucking spent my taxi money trying to get a
Yeah.
game. not even
Yeah.
not even losing it in a game, trying to get a game.
Yeah, just to get a game, but right.
You know,
No,
like them boys knew
but,
their
but,
tricks.
but then we things, as I say, the way you're talking about it, it shows you, it sticks with you, and it
Oh,
makes you want to battle yourself. So you have to,
massively,
that's,
massively,
you
and
know,
and going home, and I'd put a board up. My old boy put a board up for me actually, and put a board up, and I was up in the bedroom practicing. I remember him coming in one night. What the fuck are you doing? He said, I'm trying these three colours, Joe. I'm trying to get these three fucking colours down. I'm not going to lose a pound tonight. And but look, as you say, it does. These lessons sit with you, and they're good lessons to learn from good people. That's the thing about
or
darts, the people.
that I agree with you, definitely. Even as I say, rivals from years ago out of Nummies and Hillbillies and Gaelic, and they're all the best of mates now. And as I said, Oh, that always is the way it all down to. That's what I was saying. See, the champions, and Charlie Cup. If that was still going, you'd find that the likes of myself and all them ones, older ones, would be going to watch that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, on the bus. That'd be a queer day out for
Oh,
everybody.
would you quit?
Supporters.
You'd be getting
Yeah,
52 seaters. You wouldn't be getting a 16 seater.
that's right. That's right. You would. You're right. That's what they were filling going down. Uh, was it what year? I think '85 when we went the ankle on. That was an our story.
Right.
We had we were thrown out a million hours then, and the coach the bus was full, as you say, it was a 52 seater or whatever. So the bus was full and there was no room, and we got down till the ankle on, and the place was bunged as usual. Everybody had all the road, but we got to the final this day, and that we're playing Dundalk, and it went to 4-all, and Rancho, our fellow, he was on last, and he won the first game, and he started the second game with a ton 140, and the next thing there was bottles fired onto the stage, right? So the next thing there was a hull of all hell broke loose. The tables and everything was cope. But anyway, the police station was straight across the road from the ankle and Antrim.
Aye.
And the next thing, all these cops come in with the riot gear on, the shields. Such a mess that was. So they took all us out, all the Gaelic, out onto the bus, and the two motorbikes in front and two behind, and they gave us an escort to Dutch Corner roundabout. And they told us that's us the way on home. So the next week, when they had a meeting or something, and they said, we'll go back to Ballymoney, and the draw will be made again, and we'll play it out, and nobody agreed to go back to Ballymoney. We said, no, that's it. So it never ever was played.
Yeah. Well, as much as it's, yeah, you have to take in people's safety, and going somewhere. I'm going to tell you, even in today's era, there's a bunch of very hardy gentlemen that would go anywhere to throw darts, and they don't really care where they're
Yeah,
throwing or who they're throwing. They're hardy lads,
yeah,
and that's just the way it is. But I suppose we're in a different era now compared to where we were. But I suppose when you guys were throwing with the Gaelic
yeah,
and the Hillbillies at the height of them times.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but that doesn't excuse how use players would have been treated at the time. Do you know what I mean? And
uh,
I know that there was some times there where it went beyond darts, and it was insulting to the people who were involved, who had spent their year throwing darts and being the best they could be at their game,
yeah.
and then to be treated as they were treated, for going up the
Yeah, well, there
country
was
to
a lot
try
of
and
boys
show
on
how
that
good they were.
team. Yeah, a lot of boys in that team. Marcus Woods, Desi Woods, Ali McCall, Donald Fagan. Oh, and them boys never ever got their Northern Ireland over that. Like, and they had it. It was like it was one.
Yeah,
Was Ronto with one leg up and a 140 to ton. I can't remember what they had, but Ronto wasn't going to lose it, and
yeah,
they knew that. Well, as I say, whether it was the team or the supporters, that anyway, the bottles was through onto the stage, and the next thing there was no phones as such then, like mobiles, the way we have them. And when we got back to Millionaires, the phone was rung on the hook
yeah.
because it was actually on the news about it. And even my mum was home. She had heard it in the news that there was a fracas at Northern Ireland Darts and Antrim, and she knew we were away, and everybody knew.
Yeah,
And even Lord Rest, Kieran Matthews, he phoned he was in the Hillbillies, and he phoned over because he had heard about it, to find out what all had happened.
yeah.
But
Like, like
the only thing is the
mad
best to win
times.
the what's that thing?
Yeah, crazy times when you
It was.
when you think about it. But then we'll tell you a bunch of crazy people too. You know what I mean? If somebody told me there's a bus full of people that are going to darts, and I look round and I seen some of them names, I'm going to myself, well, good luck. Good luck to wherever they're going, because that'll be some
Yeah,
fucking day out. It's like Fester's a big mate of ours, and comes on away days with us. But Fester will tell you himself, he's an absolute bomb scare.
yeah.
you know, he told a story
Oh
one
no,
day.
hand grenade, literally.
But you could, he told a story one day about he was up in Drummond and he got bait because he was throwing like a yoke, and he fired the darts down. One of the darts ended up in somebody's finger. Mental. Probably didn't even know he did it. But that's just a sort. Will I tell you? I would love. And you're the man to ask where I would get a good fishing magnet, because if I went down that canal, I would say there could be thousands of sets of darts, and some of them maybe yours.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I am glad you said that there, because even this woman of mine says, oh, you were a sore loser, you threw your darts in the canal now. Or the story of my darts, or Bernie bought a set of tungsten nickel way back in the 80s, early 80s, and he lent me them, and I won a competition in the Hermitage with them.
Right.
And I think it was £12 for winning it, and I think he said he gave whatever, 12 or 14 pound, and he says, "Will you give me a tenner and you can keep them?" And I still have that set of darts, so I threw no darts in the canal. And actually, Donald Fagan,
maybe somebody else's dart. You might have threw somebody else's darts in.
Donald Fagan actually asked me to send a photo off. He's Mr. Suspicious, so I actually sent him a photo of the darts, and I'm sure anybody that knows me from way back would remember the darts I threw. But I have to say, I remember walking across the bridge with a few boys that threw their darts in.
Oh, would you quit?
Yeah, especially up in Logan's there.
Well, I know a man who got a Civic Reception in Jonesboro. I don't know if you know the fella, but
he didn't throw a set in.
He threw a set down. He threw a set down Talbot Street. So he did down down outside Mufti Morgan's house and that was only about 6 months ago. Fuck this and fuck that, and down they went, down the hill by. And now don't get me wrong, if we had had a camera, he was seen about 10 minutes later running down after them. But
well, funny, I'll give you an wee story about him. That he lost darts before now, but I don't know why. I don't think he didn't throw these away. He lost them, but I mean he had to go back up round Ballyhole looking for these ones now. But it wasn't that he threw them away. It was the final of the Knockout Cup was in Ballyhole, and it was Hillbillies and Gaelic.
Right.
And Tommy was only new. Paddy Rogers loved Tommy because I'll tell you, Tommy came in first year we played Nummies. One of the boys says to Tommy, "You're playing Archie Murphy," and Tommy turned around and says, "Who's Archie Murphy?" And Paddy says, "Say nothing to him, leave him alone. It's bad when he doesn't know who Archie is."
Yeah.
Because Archie the thrower, a good thrower he was.
But
then when we're playing in
the final in
Ballyhole, he was playing Francie McDonald.
Right.
We're playing the Hillbillies, and he was playing Francie McDonald.
Right.
And again, he didn't know Francie.
Okay.
Because Tommy was only new into the team, and that's what Paddy Rogers always said. Never ever let the new boys, the young ones, know who these big names is, because they'll play the name and not the thrower.
Well, that's good advice from any captain, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, but that's what I said. Tommy made it 5-all then, and I was in last, and Jerry Matthews and myself, it was 1-all. And Jerry left 130, and I needed 134. And Jerry went in with darts, and he hit 20-60, and he stood back, and I thought he was going to be straight in the middle of the ball. But he went and had a big 18.
That's criminal. That's criminal.
I went in and hit 60, travel 14, double 16, and as I say, I jumped to the stage. The boys couldn't catch me. I think I'd done 2 laps of football pitch. But Tommy McCartney, he jumped as well, and his darts were in his top pocket.
Aye.
And when we got back to the Gaelic that night, Tommy had only 1 dart. So he had to go back. But he didn't throw them away. They were lost, honestly.
Well, I'll give him that. I'll give anybody losing their darts honestly. Now that's fair enough. I couldn't tell you the amount of times. I'm sure you've had to do it too. You've had to ring back to the bar you were thrown out of the night before.
I did. Even left them in taxis now. I did.
But you could. We all do.
I've done that. Yeah, I'm glad to get them back to.
So tell me this, right? Because we are running out of time, and it's been brilliant crack talking to you, and we're going to have to do it again. But do you still have the same love for darts?
No, not me. I would have been home from work at 5 o'clock, a quick bite to eat, a shower, and then I'd have been in Shakespeare at 6:30.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, no, I'd have been the first man in the door.
Yeah.
6:30, and I'd have been up and had a bit of loosen the arm up, before anybody else get in, and then like having said that, most of the boys would have been in for 7:30. You weren't in that long in front of them.
Oh no, yeah, that was 100%.
Yeah,
And
and
still you have the real traditionalists who are still throwing now are like that. Like I try to religiously be in before 8 o'clock, but you'll have men who'll say you have to be there at 7:30, and that's just it.
yeah,
Mufti Morgan's a stickler for it.
yeah,
I have to be there at 8:15, and that's it. Can't be late. If he's in at 8 o'clock, he thinks he's late.
yeah. That would have been much the same. And you could near told at the time who was coming in the door. That was, you sort of got that routine where everybody was coming in just one after the other. But as I say, 7:30, 20 to 8, then you never had a full team.
Yeah,
So yeah, like, and then it would have started straight away a pound a man a game. So
yeah.
there was a practice board on the pound a man board, and you were sort of playing competitive darts before you even went anywhere.
Yeah, which isn't that that's I personally think you should be playing competitive games before you go out. Like you can go in and do your own wee practice routine to warm up and whatever, but like you should really be throwing competitive games before you go, especially like if you're at home, fair enough, and even better, like if the team that's coming into your bar walk in at 9 o'clock, 9:15, and see you playing and favours on the table and money on the table and people going lifting money, they're going, fuck me, these boys are, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're playing from before you even, and a lot of darts is psychological, right? Because as you said at the start of all this, everybody on their day can be as good as each other if they're throwing at
yeah.
that level. But the wee psychological things you can get, like I don't know what length your arm is, but I remember watching you in Boyd's one night and you dropped a set of keys and I thought they fell from a crane.
Now hold on. That was Mickey Donnelly beside me.
Ah!
That was Mickey Donnelly. Now
And he blamed
Mickey,
you on it and still
Mickey
does.
D's, hey, Mickey D's were a great wee man for that fight.
Oh, he's the best in the business. He's
So I'll
named.
just tell you one before you go, Mihal.
Go for
We're
it.
in years and years ago, the Gaelic was throwing the 5-a-side in Dundalk, and I was on holidays, but the Gaelic had knocked out. So there was an A team there, which was Jim McQuillan, Robbie McQuillan, Stan Brannan. They were all on the Irish team. Jim McQuillan was actually throwing Natalia at that time.
Yes.
So when I hadn't threw with the Gaelic, they asked me would I throw at them. So I'd come home with me and Chinky heads to Dundalk, and we goes into cheers, and this is where the darts, the 5-a-side was, and I
Uh-huh.
think we were down around the semi-final and that, and we met Mick McGowan's team from Duleek, and that was all internationals and that. But I think I was on second or third again, Mick, but I had beat him anyway, and we're sitting down at the bar, me and Chinky, and the next thing this boy is like a big basket of chicken and chips set up for me and Chinky. He'd say, fuck, this is a great spot, Chinky boy, fucking giving you food like this and all. So we're eating away, and yeah, boy come up, the boy says, oh, that boy down the bar, it's not them up days. And I looked down, it was Mickey Diesel.
Right.
So I was just thinking, we'll go down here to talk to this boy, see what the crack is. And I says, good man, I says, fuck, you didn't have to send them out. He says, oh no, he says, the boy sitting beside me says, there'll be nobody in here but that boy, Mick McGann. He says, number one in Ireland. And Mickey says, I put a few pound on you, he says, so only shot that, but what I won, he says, he made a few pound that. So and Mickey will tell you that story himself.
It's something we touched on before, but back then there was a lot of money changed hands by men betting against each other, and
Oh,
like I know, like even now, if we go to like see the likes of the Northern Ireland Open there, it would be some Bellinis, and myself and a couple of the lads might sort of get together, and like again, I'll not put any names out there for fear that somebody else would frown upon them for their gambling habit. But there's a couple of men in our team, and I swear to God, right, you have your pick who's going to win, and they just have the pound down in front of you. And you know what? It, it, it's it's absolutely hilarious how quickly you become attached to a dart thrower to win a game of darts for the sake of a pound.
you start roaring.
That's what
Well,
good darts, but you don't even know the man.
Well, the best I ever seen for that crack was the Oyster Festival, three aside.
Right.
There actually was a bookie in the bar, standing in the corner of the bar as the teams was through, and he was giving odds on the team, and then he would give odds on each. And the amount of money that was being bet as players were going up to throw was unbelievable.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only
Like that,
imagine.
you wouldn't. I don't think you'd be allowed to do it now. Like actually,
No.
he was a proper bookie sitting in
Yeah.
the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And that he was giving odds on what teams was playing, and then when on the individual games he was giving odds on them too. And the amount of money people were putting up over the like, and then people were coming over to saying, "Are you going to win this game?"
I know why. Well, I
That's it.
fucking hope so. Good try.
That's it. That's if you hadn't enough pressure, having a couple of €100 on your punt or whatever it was.
Well, funny, we went to Canningstown there for a few years around Christmas time. They have a good competition down there, and a few of us went along. Myself, Remy, Carl, Fester, the usual crew, right? And so we head off down, and the next thing is Remy Carl is fucking, in my opinion, he's one of the best dart throwers in the country. Like, but he doesn't look like a dart thrower. You know, he just looks like you brought your dad, depending how young you are, your grandfather to darts. And there's a bookie in there, and he said to him, you taking bets? Oh, yeah, yeah. One of the boys says, I'll have a tenner on that, I'll buy there. And he was getting to throw one of the young up and comers of that area, And they says, right, what odds? And I think the boy give 6 to 1 again Remy Carl, but I swear to God, I've never seen a swarm of Newry lads going to a bookie as quick in my life. Oh, there was some money put on it, boy.
He's so easy going, like he has just he
He's,
doesn't he
he's more
doesn't think he's serious, and then next thing he just say, I should say, brilliant.
he's more interested in cuddling a pigeon than he does in darts. That's the beauty of him. And he,
I seen him last Saturday standing at the bottom of Barcroft Hill holding a crutch, whatever that was about now.
well, listen, he's I think he uses it as a weapon more than anything. Just to stave out, you never know what would happen at the bottom of Barcroft. Like, so if you have a weapon with you, you're all right.
Yeah. Oh, fully loaded.
Well, listen,
But hey,
we've ran out of time, and
that's good.
because the children's going to bed here, so I'll get shot if I don't shut up. But
Lovely.
it's been brilliant having a crack with you, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah.
But more than anything, just thanks a million for doing it,
Yeah.
and it's been great listening to the stories. So hopefully we'll do many more of them.
You're welcome. Thanks very much, and don't forget, get Jerry Madigan on, and you'll be on the tally. I'm telling you, they'll have you on the tally. If you can get Jerry Madigan stories, you'll be into the big time, me. All right.
Tucker, thanks a million.
All the best. Cheers.
Talk
Bye.
to you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
Good luck. Bye bye.